by multiplying each to each. And you're like, I don't know what you're saying. I'll explain. And then afterwards, please make sure that you write it in standard form. Remember, standard form is when the exponent decreases from left to right. So the biggest exponent should be on the left, and then the constant should be all the way to the right. When I say multiply each to each, I'm saying multiply each term to each other term in the other parentheses. So 5x has to get multiplied, not to 3, because 3 is in the same parentheses as it. 5x gets multiplied to 2x and to 1. So the 5x was multiplied to each in the other parentheses, right? It's like distributing, but you have to do it to the other parentheses. So we're going from one parentheses to the other one. And then negative 3 gets multiplied to 2x and 1. There is a way that we can think about this, and I'll teach it to you. It's FOIL is the acronym. Now, I think this is good, but it only works for binomials, which is why I'm going to say multiply each to each, because, or double distribution, that works, but it's still only for binomials. So here we go, find the product. Let's start with 3x. 3x gets multiplied to each term in the other parentheses. So 3x, and I mark it like this because otherwise I always make a mistake. So that's 3 times 1, which is just 3. And then, guys, what's x times x? X squared. Add your exponents. Thank you. Okay, next one. So 3x also gets multiplied to what? 2. Positive 2. Make sure you pay attention to the sign that's in front of it. 3x times 2 is what? 6x. Positive 6x. So plus 6x. Now I'm going to use a different color. I'll use red. We're going to take now negative 4. Negative 4 times x is? Yep. And negative 4 times positive 2 is? I would like you to avoid using your calculator as much as possible. I gave you one because I figured on your homework I probably gave you some pretty awful numbers. Okay. So now we should combine like terms. 3x squared plus 2x minus 8. This is in standard form. Then you're done. We're going to start with n. What's the first thing I should multiply n to, Bella? What's the first thing I should multiply n to? 4n. Yep. N times 4n is what, Bella? 4n squared. Okay. Emma, what next? N times?
-7.
Which is?
-7n.
Good. Next, Elizabeth Martin. Negative 6 times what?
-7.
You could do that.
6 times positive 4n.
I would probably do that first, just so we don't miss it. Which would give me what?
Negative 24n.
And then negative 6 times negative 7 gives me what, guys? Good math facts. Combine like terms, please. That's a negative 7, and I didn't mean to cut it off. Let's see. Is this in standard form, Finn? How do you know?
Because the exponent is set on
Yeah, so 0. Perfect. Okay, do the last one on this on your own. Well, you can work with your partner. That's fine. So do 2p squared times 2p. It's 4p cubed, because that p has a 1, and I add my exponents. 2p squared times negative 5 is negative 10p squared. It's Switch colors. 3 times 2p is 6p. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. You're not done until you combine like terms. Can I combine like terms? No. So it's already in standard form. Check it. So I am actually done here. So I already told you that you need to multiply each to each. So same thing applies here. You can use FOIL for binomials. You can't use it for a binomial and a trinomial or anything bigger like I showed you. So you can write the same thing. We're going to multiply each to each. Multiply each term to each other term in the trinomial. Okay, can't spell. Trinomial. And remember, you should draw lines to keep track. 2x gets multiplied by 3x squared. So I'm going to take the stuff that's in the binomial and multiply it to what's in the trinomial. Adelaide, what's 2x times 3x squared? Yep. All right. Next is, what do I multiply 2x by next, Owen?
X.
And what do I get?
2x squared.
Yep. And Sarah, what do I multiply 2x by last?
Negative 5.
And what do I get?
Negative 10x.
Bingo. Okay, so that's all the 2x's. Remember, we're drawing lines to keep things straight so we don't miss anything. Now let's do negative 7. Luke, negative 7 times what?
3x squared.
Uh-huh. What you get me?
Negative 21x squared.
So much writing. Nancy, what's next?
Negative 7 times negative 5.
You could do that. Sorry.
Yeah, you can do both. And so, well, negative 7 times x is negative 7.
Okay, you want to do negative 7 times x? You can do negative 5. It would just,
Yeah,
I don't want you to miss it. So negative 7 times x is what?
Negative 7x.
And then negative 7 times negative 5 is what, guys? 35. Ugh, look at that. It's not in standard form. It needs to be. So you need to combine like terms and make sure it's in standard form. Exponents decreasing from left to right. Any other x cubes? No. Ugh. So check my work. Is that right? Okay. And I actually made this mistake early in the last semester. You might have remembered this. So x plus 8 squared equals x squared plus 8 squared is what?
64. No.
Bad. Why is that not good? Luke, why is that terrible?
Because you're not doing x squared plus 8 squared. You're doing x squared, x plus 8 times x plus 8.
Right. I'm doing x plus 8 multiplied by itself. X plus 8 is a quantity. Remember, we can only do power to a power, which is what I just did, if these two terms are stuck together with multiplication, which would actually make them one term. So either multiplication or division. When they are separated by addition, you cannot do that. This is 2 parentheses multiplied together. Okay? So when you see this, if you do x squared plus 64, you're going to make me real sad. We do not do that. We write it out, we expand it as x plus 8 times x plus 8. So let's do that. And then we multiply each to each. Double distribution, FOIL, whatever you want to say. So I'll talk about FOIL on this one. First term is x squared. Outers, x times 8 is 8x. inner 8 times x, and then last 64. Please combine like terms. That is 2m minus 3 twice. You're not doing power to a power. Go ahead and double distribute, FOIL, multiply each to each. You do end up getting 4m squared minus 12m plus 9. This is what we call, well, I guess not. So there's a trick for this. There's a shortcut if you don't want to write it all out. I know that it's going to be a squared. I'm looking at the bottom. The first term squared minus 2 times the first term times the second term plus the second term squared, looking at what is in this little chart here. So you do end up, you would get the same thing if you just use that quick shortcut, but this is also very quick, so if you want to write it out, there's no harm in that. Would you please do the next two on this page with your partner, and then check it with them, and then check it with the board. I'm going to kind of think through the first one if you want to think with me. The first number squared is x squared. Then because it's got a plus sign in the middle, it's going to be plus 2ab. So plus 2 times x times 3 plus 3 squared, which is 9. So that would simplify to x squared plus 6x plus 9. So if you can get to the point where you do that in your head, you wouldn't have to write anything out. You just get your final answer. So on the second one, it's 2x squared minus 2 times 2x times 4 plus 4 squared, which is 16. If this way seems really confusing to you and you need to write it out, that's okay. But I want you to at least kind of understand how you could do it this way. So here's what you should end up getting on those last three. Our radius is x plus 1. Our height is x plus 4. While those are not actually numbers, we're going to put them in place for r and h. So let's start by, I'm going to do this below it just because there's not enough room. And notice it says leave your answer in terms of pi. So that's how you know. It's okay if this is left like a literal equation. So here we go. Surface area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. I know that my radius is x plus 1, so instead of writing r, I'm going to put x plus 1 in parentheses. So 2 pi x plus 1 squared plus 2 pi x plus 1. What should I put for my height? Tell the person next to you. What do I put, Catherine?
X plus 4.
Bingo, x plus 4. So next thing you should do is go ahead and, well, I would go ahead and expand x plus 1 squared, or you can do it out to like the side. So maybe I'll do it up here, so I don't have to put it in the formula. Or you can use that shortcut we just discussed. So go ahead, I would go and multiply these two binomials. Check me if I'm right. Is it x squared plus 2x plus 1? So instead of writing x plus 1, the quantity squared, we're going to put that. So 2 pi times what we just got for expanding that out. What do you suppose we should do in this on the second term, the 2 pi x plus 1, x plus 4? What do you suppose we should do over there? Suffolk? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and multiply the two binomials. So let's go ahead and put plus 2 pi, and we know that our answer is going to go in this parentheses here. So multiply, we get x squared plus 4x plus 1x, so I'm going to simplify that right away, plus 4. Ooh. To every term inside the parentheses, so we're just doing regular distribution. So 2 pi times x squared is 2 pi x squared. 2 pi times 2x is 4 pi x, because we multiply the regular numbers, right? We'll move up. And then 2 pi times 1 is 2 pi. Do the second term. It's a term because it's multiplied together right now. Or a second expression, you could think of it like that. Plus 2 pi times x squared, so 2 pi x squared. 2 pi times 5x is 10 pi x, and please tell me if I'm doing something wrong, because it's a really big problem, and 2 pi times 4 is 8 pi. Does that look okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Two pi x squared and the other 2 pi x squared are like terms because their variables look the exact same. So that would be 4 pi x squareds. Then we got the x's, which would give me 14 pi x's. And we have the 2 pi and 8 pi, which give me 10 pi. That is us leaving our answer in terms of pi. I know there's still x's in it, but that is okay.